Well, good afternoon, everybody. This is Gregory Mascaro Financial Media. Today is Saturday, April 22nd, 2017. Time's about 12:30 p.m. This is my political post, Ramblings of a Confused Mind. A lot has gone on in the last week, and also with the first quote-unquote 100 days of Trump's presidency. Uh, let's touch Trump presidency for a second. 100 days coming up. What has he accomplished? I'm more concerned with how much Congress is interfering with getting things done. The Republican Party and the Rhino, R-I-N-O, Republican in name only, had 7 years, almost 8 years to prepare and plan and work out a correct legal healthcare system. Didn't have anything done. Now they're trying to get it done again. Who's blaming who for not getting it done? We also have him trying to enforce immigration laws. And we have justice in position who are not following the Constitution and blocking those efforts. We saw another violent attack in France just the other day. Open fire on the police. This is the methodology of jihadist behavior. Make everyone fearful to go outside. A very, very violent propaganda machine. And as I spoke before, one jihadist has a greater kill ratio than our military tries to achieve with their training and their soldiers, because they could strap on a bomb and take out 80 people. As a matter of fact, there was an attack in the Middle East again on a army barracks, a couple of suicide bombers, a couple of gunmen, and 140 soldiers dead. So it's all about being prepared. It's all about being self-sufficient. Congress, I really don't have much confidence in him. And as much as I want to say President Trump is trying to get everything done, it's going to be an uphill battle. When people are sworn to an oath and they fail to uphold their oath and this Constitution, that's treason. Things need to happen. You got a lot going on in the world that's making it very, very hard to get where we need to be safe. Let's look at something from the other side of the coin. Everyone says the evil oil companies, how bad they are. Oh my goodness, they make so much money. To do offshore drilling, it's between $500,000 and $1 million a day, and it can take several weeks to a month and a half to get prepared, set up, and established. Not even drilling a hole, which 9 out of 10 times isn't productive enough to warrant the cost of the daily maintenance of it. And in our developed society, in our Western society, civilized world, we produce about 100 million barrels a day, and we consume near about 90 million barrels a day. And on any aspect of our life, it's all predicated by the availability of oil. Take oil out of the equation, and we fall down hard. Food collapses, distribution systems collapse, manufacturing collapse, medical care collapses. Across the board, it is the common denominator. So there are things we need to be doing that are self-sufficient and sustainable. The earth has to be able to sustain. I'm all about solutions. You hear people talk about global warming. Whether it's real or not, our temperature is changing. It could be a natural occurrence for the earth. It could be all of the things we as humans are doing, aside from methane gas and carbon dioxide gas. Look at all the car engines that are creating heat. Look at all the air conditioners that are creating heat. Look at all the ovens and stoves and gas furnaces and hot water bottle and hot water tanks, all creating heat. Look at all of the rocket launches. How much heat is that creating? I had a friend of mine put a proposal on the table thinking, what if all the oil we're taking out of the ground is the Earth's natural coolant that protects the outer crust and the waters from the temperatures of the internal core and the melted magma. There's a thought. Again, I'm all about solutions. Let's try to create a sustainable living way of life that doesn't leave an imprint on Earth. Carbon dioxide, that's a curious thing to say. It's a greenhouse gas. When we were taught science, anytime that there was an overabundance of food, whatever that food source was to whatever creature, the creatures benefited. Many millions of years ago, Earth had a very high oxygen density population. You know, how much oxygen in the atmosphere per part per million. And we had very large insects and creatures because of the oxygen density. Now we don't have that same oxygen density. It's a lot less. But carbon dioxide is the food for plants and green leaf, you know, all sorts of plants and trees. So now there's an overabundance of carbon dioxide. Well, for me, with what we were taught, that means there's going to be a greater level of greenery going on. So, right or wrong or indifferent with global warming, I'm all about let's behave scientifically to say, all right, let's just create life and create a very small footprint or a non-existent footprint. But don't do it at the expense of our standard of living. Figure out the solutions for that to happen and increase in our standard of living. The keyest thing for every culture and society and government is to keep their people safe and fed. Hard challenges. So now we have an administration that's trying to do things that keep our country safe, keep our country working. And he's got all these detractors saying, oh, he didn't accomplish anything. Well, it's very hard to accomplish things when you have one whole side of the political process totally not working with you, and then a percentage of the other side that's in name only working against you. It's like being set up and having the rug taken out from underneath you and being told you didn't accomplish the task I gave you. Even though I tripped you up and knocked you down, you're still being held accountable. Really bothers me. Really bothers me to see what goes on with that. But we have a lot of violent threats going around. We still have the North Korea issue going on. We still have Middle East issues going on. I don't see them doing much of anything with it. It's going to be small scale and local. I don't see anyone dropping a nuke. It just doesn't make economical sense. You know, how is North Korea going to threaten their southern partner, South Korea? They drop a nuke there, they affect their own life. Just look at the damage and harm created by the Fukushima nuclear power plant going down. Who knows how much damage that has created for that environment in Japan. I mean, there's studies and reports that I've read where it said that they've actually contaminated the water source, you know, the water table with nuclear reactive material. Very, very challenging. There's safer nuclear options. It's called thorium reactors. You can look up that. Thorium reactor is a great energy plant. It allows you to have the clean energy of nuclear without the risk of a nuclear meltdown because it involves a third element to excite the nuclear fusion to take place. So the two together, the fuel and the rods, can't accidentally melt down and go on a runaway train. So there are solutions. There are things we can look at and help the world achieve a level of commonality and stability while feeding the people. And at this point of this country, with the concerns that you see going on with immigration, we were an open immigration policy all through the start of this country, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, because we wanted population. People came over here legally, got processed. People came over here without papers, still got processed. They didn't come in and hide. They came through the system and got processed. That's how you got the term WOP, W-O-P, without papers. It got put on your hat, on your clothing, a person without papers. So I'm at the point of thinking, look, let's start exporting our Constitution. But then we'll be accused of trying to build an empire. But I do believe that the idea of what our Constitution embodies everybody wants to embrace. The liberty of self-expression, the liberty of self-chasing down my dream, my goal, my happiness, my work, my career, my talent. Uh, let's export that to the world. If you notice, when we bring capitalism into the world and free enterprise into the world, it changes. The violent behaviors get put aside. The despots get put aside. People embrace because they see a better way of life. This is what we have to do as people. We have to hold our politicians accountable. They have to do their job. It shouldn't be that a politician is going to make money because he's getting paid off. I don't care who you're talking about. All right? It's supposed to be we come up with an idea, we present it to the floor, they get a vote on it. If it's a good idea, it gets approved, it becomes a bill, it becomes law. If it doesn't, it gets kicked to the curb. That's been gone for about 30 years. Now it's, hey, put this up here, we'll pay you tens of millions of dollars. We'll pay you $250,000 for a speech. Grifting. Well, that's my ramblings of a confused mind for this Saturday. I hope you all have a nice weekend. Until we talk again, be well, take care, and stay safe. This is Gregory Mascaro saying have a nice day.